Live with studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching CBS7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW
We're the most
West
trusted
Texas.
profession in the whole nation. It's just a gift to have so much trust from patients, and we need to be wise stewards of that gift.
It's National Nurses Week. Coming up in just a few minutes, we hear more about what it means to be a part of this healthcare profession. Thanks for joining us for CBS7 News on the CW, and thanks to those of you joining us live from the CBS7 YouTube. I'm Lauren Munt, and we start tonight with a preview of a story you'll only see here on CBS7. Changes are soon coming to the way that we buy and sell homes, and it's having a ripple effect nationwide, even right here in West Texas. A multi-million-dollar settlement announced by the National Association of Realtors sent shockwaves through the industry. Realtors are going to have to do set commissions a bit differently moving forward. Connie Coots, the CEO of the Odessa Board of Realtors, has been keeping a close eye on this, and she explains that consumers could really benefit from the changes.
This might be good to help the consumers know the process of what's going on in our industry. And we think this will be good for all of our members. We think that everyone needs representation.
So what will happen after the settlement to the commissions that agents make on homes? Matthew Alvarez explains in his special report that's coming up next on CBS7 First Alert News at 10. And developing story for you now, Midland Crime Stoppers posted images of a man who got inside of the TLCA campus early this morning. According to the Crime Stoppers Facebook page, the man has been identified by a tip, and detectives are following on that lead. You can see him here. It happened around 2:45 a.m. And Midland police say that he burglarized the building. When administrators noticed missing items from the elementary school and found out that a man had entered the building overnight, the school was put on a secure hold. Out of caution, police were called and all students were accounted for and moved to the middle school building. That secure was lifted at 1 o'clock this afternoon. The TLCA administration has decided to cancel school for all of their Midland campuses tomorrow, and the school plans to use this time off to validate security initiatives before students return on Monday. We turn now to a notice that was recently posted on the Fort Stockton Police Department Facebook page. According to the post, someone falsely reported that a man was on school property with a firearm. Fort Stockton PD says this is not true, and the person who made the false report has been arrested. And Sunday is the beginning of National Police Memorial Week. However, the Odessa Police Department decided to honor fallen officers a couple of days early. This morning, the Odessa Police Department hosted a police memorial service for 14 officers that died in the line of duty. One of those includes a K-9. This ceremony had officers from the Ector and Midland County Sheriff's Office, Odessa, Midland, and Lubbock Police Departments, Ector County ISD officers, and local and state politicians. They all came together to pay tribute to these officers and to thank the current officers for their service on a daily basis.
We come together as a family and remember those that we've lost, to those really tragic circumstances, to those bad times. And we pay tribute to them, but we also pay tribute to their families, because that's really where we're at now, where we want to support those families. We want to make sure that they understand that not only are they not forgotten, but their loved ones not forgotten.
When the name of the fallen officers were announced, their families got to add a yellow flower onto the wreath. And looking across West Texas now, Representative Tony Gonzalez has helped get $10 million to the city of Pecos. That's in order to fund a housing project. In total, the project will be completed in 3 phases, costing $60 million. It will build 160 houses for local law enforcement professionals and first responders within the Pecos Police Department, Reeves County Hospital and Emergency Service Districts, and the Reeves County Sheriff's Department. 8 acres of land have been dedicated for phase 1 of the housing plans. And the Reeves County judge said in part, quote, "This is a game changer. For years, we've struggled to recruit and retain government employees due to the presence of oil and gas personnel and their housing needs. These funds will be used in multiple phases to increase the housing stock of Pecos, Texas," end quote. And now looking ahead at gas prices this week, according to AAA, Texas is about 40 cents below the national average price of gas, at an average price of $3.24 per gallon. In Midland, the average is right with the state average at $3.24, but in Odessa, it's a little less, at $3.19 per gallon. And the cheapest gas in the state can be found in Lubbock, and the most expensive, Fort Worth. We're going to take a pause now and talk your weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Tom Tieferteller. Tom, we are getting closer and closer to Saturday, and I'm really hoping you'll tell me there's no chances of rain, but I know you're going to, so why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, there is, okay? There is going to be chances of rain showers, thunder showers this weekend. Just in time for Mother's Day. We've got the first part of everything rolling in. A cold front arriving with those gusty northeast winds right now. Trying to cool off. Temperatures are now down into the mid-70s out across the city of Midland, 76 out of the Middle National Air and Spaceport. Still a little milder in Odessa, but you can see where that front is located and blowing across with those gusty northeast to east winds, upward sustained around 20 to 25 miles an hour, and some gusts approaching 33 to 35 miles an hour out there. So this is going to continue to push off to the south and southwest. We'll see more clouds in the forecast towards morning as we drop down into the lower 60s, but that's also going to bring some changes with some showers and thunder showers in our forecast just in time for the weekend. More on that and more on Mother's Day here in a couple of minutes.
Thank you, Tom. Turning now to some health headlines. Nurses are there for you at your worst in order to help you get to your best. And this week, they're being celebrated for National Nurses Week. According to the American Association of Colleges of Nurses, nurses make up the largest part of the healthcare workforce. In 1993, the American Nurse Association's Board of Directors designated May 6th through May 12th as National Nurses Week.
Just really, as a nurse, it's something that you're always continually growing and continually learning. I learn something new every day. Just really expanding my education as a nurse. Medicine is like a forever changing field, and so that's something that we have to keep up with, especially as a critical care nurse. Practices are always changing, and we always want to know what's best for our patients.
All this week, the hospitals are doing things to honor their staff. And next week is fittingly National Hospitals Week. To meet more nurses from our local community, you can go to our website, CBS7.com. And with the rise of inflation across the United States and right here in Odessa, Meals on Wheels and the Junior League want to make sure that local seniors have their necessities. The Silver Pantry will serve clients who are enrolled to receive services from Meals on Wheels of Odessa, and it will be stocked with the help of their partners from HEB. The clients will have access to adult nutritional drinks, oral hygiene supplies, cleaning supplies, and more.
Because it's going to help supply things that are, just a little bit extra that our clients may need, but come at an expense that they may not be able to afford.
The idea for the Silver Pantry grew from the Junior League of Odessa's Pink Pantry, which provides supplies to young women of school age.
Some of the most vulnerable are our older Odessans. A lot of times they're on fixed incomes, and it is really difficult for them to stretch those incomes from month to month, depending on the types of products that they need.
The Silver Pantry is an exclusive resource to the Meals on Wheels of Odessa clients. In the Odessa College, students in philanthropy made a $5,000 donation to Family Promise today. Family Promise is a nonprofit in Midland that provides housing for homeless families in order to get them back on their feet. The donation will be used to cover sports registration fees and equipment costs for children in the Family Promise program. In UTBB, the Young Women's Leadership Academy and the Boys and Girls Club of the Permian Basin are the latest organizations to team up in order to advocate for students. YWLA and Boys and Girls Club middle school students will be able to sign up for classes that teach NASA curriculum. It's taught by UTBB students studying to become STEM teachers. The goal is to train teachers in NASA space exploration concepts, and it's all being done through an $800,000 grant that was given to UTBB in a partnership with the TWEX Foundation. And commencement at the University of Texas at Austin is this weekend, but it's a backdrop is a campus community that appears to be largely polarized over the school's response to recent protests. Michael Atkinson reports.
This is not about miscommunication. This is not about public disclosure.
A university divided against itself. As the University of Texas at Austin wraps its semester, the campus appears as polarized as ever between the layoffs of as many as 6 faculty members in an effort to comply with the state's ban on diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, and the law enforcement response to the chaotic pro-Palestine protests last month, culminating in the arrests of more than 100 people. University affiliates have been divided on where to stand.
It's important to highlight those that we are protecting those particular groups of students. At this point in time, what we are calling for, what we are paying attention for, is that this particular group of students is being targeted.
Over the last 2 days, the UT Faculty Council has met for special called meetings, almost entirely dedicated to crafting a resolution to criticize the university for its handling of the student protests, several versions of which have failed to pass.
We need to be asking ourselves, was the university's response to the recent protests consistent with a completely free and open discussion of ideas?
Though the Faculty Council doesn't have control over official university policies, such a resolution could spell trouble for the university. More than 650 faculty members signed on to a letter expressing no confidence in UT President Jay Hartzell. But a number of prominent people have also backed UT's president. Just yesterday, more than 50 Texas House Republicans signed on to a letter that not only supports Hartzell, but calls on those dissident faculty members, not Hartzell, to resign themselves. And within university leadership, the Board of Regents of the system too is backing Hartzell. On Wednesday, UT System Chair Kevin Altaif praised the law enforcement response to the protests, applauding and giving a standing ovation to Texas Department of Public Safety troopers in the room.
The university's Faculty Council is expected to address the issue of the DEI-based layoffs in a meeting later this month. That will follow testimony from Texas universities on the DEI ban in a hearing next week. Still ahead, a 2-week streak of daily tornadoes continues to claim lives. We'll have all the latest details next here on CBS 7 News at 9. Across the nation, more counties and more states woke up to widespread tornado damage as dangerous storms churned over parts of the Midwest into Tennessee on Wednesday. Laura Aguirre brings us more on this destructive and sometimes deadly weather cycle and when forecasters say it might finally ease up.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Massive and fast moving. This tornado churned through Columbia, Tennessee Wednesday evening as many motorists sheltered in cars nearby, tracking its direction.
Lord, please spare us.
A different state, a different storm, but a similar scary ordeal as a couple in Michigan rode out a twister in their SUV.
Watched that tree fall. She told me to back up. I started backing up.
More falling trees blocked their escape. Their home, handed down from the owner's grandmother, was completely flipped on its side and destroyed.
I told her, I said our house is gone, and I mean, it just kept hitting.
For the past 14 days, tornadoes have been reported every day across multiple states in the central and southern U.S., leaving incredible paths of destruction.
We had a tornado touchdown here in Murray County, approximately 2 miles wide.
and exacting a tragic human toll. Tennessee officials confirmed Thursday morning that there were storm-related deaths and multiple injuries in their state, with searches ongoing. Other fatalities this week were reported in North Carolina and in Oklahoma. Forecasters say the violent storms are moving east toward the Atlantic, but could bring very large hail, high winds, and possibly more tornadoes to the southeast and mid-Atlantic as they go. I'm Laura Aguirre for CBS 7 First Alert News.
Well, even some severe weather today across central and east Texas. For West Texas, well, some thunderstorms are in the forecast. Looks like severe weather prospects are going to be low this weekend. We'll talk all about that. Get you ready for Mother's Day. Coming up next.
Now, from the CBS 7 First Alert Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, let's take a look at the weather makers tonight. Again, across the area, we are seeing the influence of this big upper level low that's spinning out across the Four Corners area, digging down a pretty deep trough across portions of the southwest U.S. We're seeing a front being drugged down a little bit by this across the area. It's what's causing the gusty winds out there right now. But with this type of setup, usually we see some disturbances rounding the base of this big trough, and that is going to roll right across West Texas. And what that really means is we'll see an increase in rain chances in our forecast this weekend, because we are going to have a little bit of moisture for things to work with. Now, most of the storms today have been across, well, the eastern Concho Valley over towards central Texas, southeast Texas now, north central Texas, all dealing with some thunderstorms today across the area. But of course, West Texas, things are quiet, just breezy with that front dropping down across the area now, and some cooler air is really starting to roll in from the northeast. Again, you can see with only 76 in Amarillo today, we got into the lower 90s before the front. 99 in Presidio, 109 Del Rio and Laredo, 104 in Brownsville, and heat index values across deep south Texas, like Brownsville at one time, up to 125 degrees is what it felt like. Felt like 131 in Orange Grove, just northwest of Corpus Christi, earlier this afternoon. Now, we are going to see an increase in the moisture on these east winds that are going to be moving across into the area. That's going to pull up against the mountain areas, so plenty of clouds on the way for tomorrow. Then a disturbance will start to kick off some scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder into Saturday morning. into the early part of the afternoon, moving across the northeast, and then we'll see a few more with another disturbance later on in the afternoon and into the evening hours. Again, not expecting anything too rough out of this, but you get into these mountain areas, that's where we could be dealing with an isolated severe storm coming up on Saturday afternoon. So we'll keep an eye on that. But in the meantime, though, just gusty winds tonight, down around 60 to the upper 50s on the overnight low, and then tomorrow looking around 77 degrees for the afternoon high, so cooler with more clouds on the way. There's those rain chances, about 50% coming up on Saturday, tapering off a little bit later on Sunday. So it's not going to be a total washout for Mother's Day, and we'll see some warmer temperatures too, and it's back in those 90s next week.
Former President Donald Trump was back in court for day 3 of Stormy Daniels' testimony. We'll have what was said up next. The Republican presidential nominee is accused of falsifying business records in connection with payments to his former lawyer, Michael Cohen. Prosecutors say that Cohen was given $130,000 to buy Daniels' silence ahead of the 2016 election. Trump's lawyers argue the money was to cover Cohen's legal fees.
The judge in the hush money trial of former President Donald Trump has denied the defense team's latest request for a mistrial. Manhattan criminal court judge Juan Merchan also rejected efforts to have the gag order against Trump modified. The order prevents Trump from speaking out about witnesses, but not about the judge, who Trump lashed out at again after court on Thursday.
He's a corrupt judge and he's totally conflicted. And I got to get back on the campaign trail. I'm not supposed to be here. We are so innocent. There's never been anything like it.
Testimony from Stormy Daniels, a key witness for the prosecution, wrapped up. Daniels gave more details about her alleged sexual encounter with Trump. The adult film star testified she felt shock and surprise when she came back to the Lake Tahoe hotel room in 2006 and saw Trump on the bed. She called it a power shift because she earlier felt she had control of the situation. The former president's lawyers repeatedly accused her of fabricating the story. "You're making this up, right?" said one defense lawyer. to which Daniels replied no.
Some jurors may have had sympathy for Stormy Daniels, and some jurors may have had contempt for her.
Daniels repeatedly denied being motivated by money, and when Trump defense attorney Susan Neckles pointed out that she was selling merchandise related to Trump's indictments online, Daniels replied, not unlike Mr. Trump. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Still ahead, have you ever wanted to travel across the world through a portal? We'll tell you how next, kind of. Okay, Tom, picture this. You're traveling from New York to Ireland in an instant.
Okay.
Have you ever wanted to do that before?
That sounds neat.
It is really cool, and now you can, kind of. This is a new artist installation, and it's called The Portal, where New York meets Dublin. It's a live feed in both places for visitors to enjoy. So it's basically it looks like a portal, and it kind of looks like you could walk through it.
So it's a big sky.
Yeah, essentially, it's a big. I don't think there's sound.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. I don't think there is sound. I'd have to do a little more research on it. But everyone in there's everyone in Ireland, and they're looking at all the people in New York, and they're waving to them. I imagine there's definitely a time difference there, so I don't know how often you can see it filled with people, because you probably see it filled with night more often than not. But I bet it's really cool to see during the day, to go and interact with some people from Ireland.
It's the middle of the night in New York, and then it'll be morning.
I mean,
there will all be.
It's the city that never sleeps. So
yeah,
there's
there'll
always
be
people
something
in New York.
going on. Okay.
So you can always see people hanging out, and that's pretty cool.
Too bad it's not like sci-fi where you can just step through the portal.
Step through, and there you are. I think we need one of those here in Texas. Maybe like one connecting West Texas to
Dallas.
There you go, Dallas. We can connect to Dallas, and we can just see what they're doing up there. Or
I think one day
we'll
have one that you can look at people on the moon.
There you go.
Just thinking.
You can just jump in it and go to the moon.
There you go. Well, we can hope one day.
Just jump in there, go to the moon, and maybe they'll have a little bit better weather than us this weekend. Thanks for joining us for CBS 7 News at 9 in the CW. We've got more news coming up tonight at 10.